Hello everyone. Next our topic is cement. Our topic is cement. Cement is a powdered mixture of calcium silicate and calcium aluminate. It is the most important point you have to remember. Cement is a powdered mixture of calcium silicate and calcium aluminate. What are the properties of cement? Means cement having the property of setting and capable of binding materials like stones, bricks, etc. In olden days, they used to construct the buildings by using stones. Okay, so what are the properties of cement? Cement has the property of setting and capable of binding materials like stones, bricks, etc. Next, cements are hydraulic in nature. That is, it is having the property of setting and hardening in presence of water. That means here you should remember one important point. What is the meaning of hydraulic? A substance which will increases its strength or which becomes hard by absorbing the water or by reacting with water, that substances are called as hydraulic. The substances which can able to react with water or which can absorb the water, by absorbing that or reacting with water, which will gain their strength or which will become hard, the substances are called as hydraulic. Here what they are telling, cements are hydraulic in nature because by absorbing water or by interacting with water or by reacting with water, they become setting and they undergo setting and proper hardening in presence of water. Next, based on the different chemical composition, how many types of this cements are there? Means in nature, 5 types of cements are there. First one is natural cement, second one is slag cement, third one is pozzolana cement, fourth one is high alumina cement, and last one is Portland cement. According to R22 regulation, engineering chemistry syllabus, they specified Portland cement topic in our syllabus. So we need to focus on Portland cement. What is Portland cement? So till now, before going to explain about Portland cement, what are the points we discussed about cement? Cement is a mixture of what? Cement is a mixture of, we take any cement, that cement is the mixture of what? Calcium silicate and calcium aluminate. That is the first point. Next point, it has the property of setting and to bind the materials like stones and bricks, etc. Next, third point, it is hydraulic in nature. So these are the key points you should remember. Next, come to Portland cement, because if you understand the concept of cement, you can understand Portland cement concept very easily. So in last topic we discussed about cement is the mixture of calcium silicate and calcium aluminate. Look into the Portland cement topic. Portland cement, this is also called as magic powder. Why it is called as magic powder? The cement simple with water mixed with, that means if we mix the cement sample is mixed with water, it gives a strong hard stone like substances. So first we have to take the cement sample and we should mix that cement sample with water. Whenever we mix the cement with the water, it will convert in the form of strong hard stone like substances resembles the Portland rock. So here it is the nature of the Portland cement. Portland cement, whenever we add water to Portland cement, it will become hard and it is looking like a Portland rock. That is why it is also called as magic powder. Before addition of water, it is in the powder form. Whenever we add water to Portland cement, it will become very hard Portland rock like structure. It will get the Portland rock like structure. That is why it is also known as magic powder. Next, so the cement sample is called as cement Portland or Portland cement. Next, Portland cement was introduced by William Aspdin. It is the name of the scientist. So who introduced Portland cement? The scientist named William Aspdin introduced that. Next, Composition of Portland cement is calcium silicate and calcium aluminate. Just now we discussed about that. Cement is the mixture of what? Calcium silicate and calcium aluminate. So here also Portland cement is the mixture of calcium silicate and calcium aluminate. What is the other name of calcium silicate and calcium? That means what are the composition or what are the raw materials involved in that? Means calcareous materials and argillaceous materials. Calcareous materials, observe, before going to explain about calcareous and argillaceous, you should look into the composition of Portland cement. Portland cement is the composition of what? Calcium silicate and calcium aluminate. Whenever we look into the calcium silicate and calcium aluminate, calcium is common here. So here the substances which are the source of calcium that are called as calcareous materials. The substances which are the source of silicates and aluminates that are called as argillaceous materials. So Portland cement is the mixture of what? Calcareous materials and argillaceous materials, which will give calcium and silicate and aluminate with a small amount of gypsum. So along with calcareous and argillaceous materials, we have to add what? Gypsum. What is gypsum? Hydrated calcium sulfate is called as gypsum. CaSO4. Its formula is chemical formula is CaSO4 2H2O. So this is about definition of Portland cement. Next, look into the composition of it. What are the elements? That means what are the chemicals present in that? What is the composition of Portland cement? Means the major composition of Portland cement is limestone. Limestone is represented with CaO. Next, alumina, Al2O3, that is 5 to 7.5%. Next, silica, SiO2, 20 to 24%. Next, magnesium oxide, MgO, 2 to 3%. Next, ferric oxide, Fe2O3, its formula 1 to 2.5%. Next, sulfur trioxide, SO3, 1 to 1.5%. Next, potassium oxide, sulfur oxide, K2O, Na2O, 1%. Among this composition, three elements are very important. First one is lime, next one is alumina, third one is silica. Just now we discussed about this. The composition of Portland cement. Portland cement is the mixture of what? Calcium silicate and calcium aluminate. Observe here, lime is the source of calcium, alumina is the source of alumina is the source of aluminate, silica is the source of silicate, which will give the silicates. So little amount of remaining elements are required to balance the setting and hardening reactions of the cement. Next, look into the manufacturing process of the Portland cement. Till now we discussed about what is Portland cement, what is the composition of Portland cement. Next, we have to focus on what is the manufacturing process of Portland cement. Before going to manufacture anything, first we need to focus on raw materials. Here also we need to collect the raw materials to manufacture the Portland cement. So what are the raw materials? First, raw materials. Look into the raw materials. Here we need two are the major one, third one is minor one. Total 3 raw materials we need. What are the raw materials? Means first one is calcareous materials. Just now we discussed about that. The substances which will give the calcium, that substances are called as calcareous materials. The substances which will give the argillaceous materials, that means which will give the silica, alumina, that are called as argillaceous materials. Next, little amount of gypsum we need. So what are the calcareous materials? Lime, magnesia, limestone, these are calcium carbonate. These all are the calcareous materials which will give the calcium, or which are the source of calcium, and magnesia will give the magnesium oxide. Next, argillaceous materials. Argillaceous materials are generally clay composition. These all are present in clay. Okay. So here what are the argillaceous materials? Silica, alumina and iron oxide are called as argillaceous materials. To these raw materials we need to add little amount of gypsum. So first we gather the raw materials. Look into the manufacturing process of the Portland cement. First we have to mix the raw materials. That means here it consists of one particular procedure. First one is we have to mix the raw materials. After taking raw materials, we should mix the raw materials. Then we need to allow that raw materials to different types of zones. First, we should look into the mixing of raw materials. How to mix the raw materials? First, we should take the calcareous and argillaceous materials. Then we should mix the raw materials either by using dry method or by using wet method. What is dry method? What is wet method? Means in dry method, wet method, there is no change in raw materials. If we mix the raw materials without adding water, that is called as dry method. If we mix if we mix that raw materials by using little amount of water, that method is called as wet method. In which situation we need to go through dry method, in which condition we should go through wet method? Means if the raw materials are soft, are very hard in nature, if raw materials are very hard in nature, we should crush the raw materials in 3:1 proportion. This proportion is important. 3:1 proportion means here calcareous materials are that means 3:1 ratio. Calcareous materials 3, argillaceous materials 1. That means 75% of calcareous materials, only 25% of argillaceous materials. What is the ratio of calcareous and argillaceous? 3:1 ratio. In which situation we should go through dry method? If the raw materials are very hard, we should crush the raw materials, and we should mix the raw materials without adding water in 3:1 proportion. So that type of process is called as dry method. Next, wet method. Wet method means if the raw materials are, in which situation we should go through that? If the raw materials like limestone and clay, just now I said argillaceous materials are nothing but clay composition, silica, alumina, these all are clay composition. So here argillaceous and clay, calcareous and argillaceous materials are soft in nature. We should mix that raw materials in 3:1 ratio by adding little amount of water. Whenever we add water to it, it is converted in the form of paste. That paste is technically called as slurry. Whenever we add or whenever we mix the calcareous and argillaceous materials in 3:1 ratio by the addition of little amount of water, that will be converted in the form of slurry. It is the product of wet method. Wet method and dry methods are the methods which we are using or which we are observing at the time of mixing of raw materials. So in manufacturing of Portland cement process, first we collected the raw material, then we can mix the raw material based on its physical state. Based on the physical state of the raw materials or nature of the raw materials, we can mix that raw materials either by using dry method or by using wet method. Clear? Here one point you should remember, we are going to manufacture this Portland cement by using one device. The device name is rotatory kiln. This rotatory kiln consists of 3 zones. These zones are very, very important. First zone is drying zone. Second zone is calcinating zone. Third zone is burning zone. Look into the process. After mixing the raw materials, we should allow so this kiln is like this. It consists of 3 zones. We need to introduce the raw materials here. Whenever we introduce the raw materials, first zone, second zone, third zone, finally we will get the cement here. So first we should introduce the raw materials. This whole device is called as what? Kiln. So this zone is what? This zone is called as drying zone. This zone is called as calcinating zone. This zone is called as burning zone. First we need to mix the raw materials, then we should introduce the raw materials into first zone. First zone is nothing but was dry zone. What are actually happening? What are the reactions? What are the changes actually happening in dry zone? Look into the topic. We will see. Next, what is dry zone? This is present on the upper part of the kiln. Just now I explained. So this is the upper part. If we consider it is a kiln, upper part is what? Dry zone. Middle part is calcinating zone. Last part is burning zone. So this is the upper part of the kiln, and maintained at the temperature of 400 degrees C. Here temperatures are important. Drying zone is at 400 degrees C. In this zone, most of the water from the slurry gets evaporated. In wet method, we added little amount of water. So to remove that water, we should treat that mixture with the dry zone. If any moisture content is there, because cement is hydraulic in nature, so whenever it react with water, it will be converted in the form of rock. But we need cement which is in powder form. To get the cement which is in powder form, first we need to remove the water from that. To remove the water from that mixture or raw materials, first we need to allow that raw materials into drying zone. In the drying zone, if any moisture content is there in that raw materials, that will be evaporated whenever we heat that raw materials at 400 degrees C, because drying zone is at 400 degrees C. So here in this process some chemical reaction happens. Look into that chemical reaction. Here these are the materials which are present in clay. It is the water. Whenever we treat this water with argillaceous materials at 400 degrees C, that will be separated. Observe here, in reactant side water is in combined form. In product side water is separated from that. So to remove the water, we should treat the raw materials with the we should treat the raw materials in drying zone. In drying zone, we can remove the water. So this is the reaction at drying zone. In reactant side, whenever we look into this reaction, we need to understand the reaction first. If you understand the reaction, you can understand the concept very, very easily. Observe the reactant side. These are the raw materials which are present in clay. Clay is nothing but argillaceous material. Okay. So here these all are alumina, silica, ferric oxide. These all are present in combined form. Whenever we heat these raw materials at 400 degrees C, that will be separated. We can observe here. Alumina is separated from silica. Silica is separated from alumina. Ferric oxide is separated from water. Water is separated from ferric oxide. So here the raw materials which are in combined form in this drying zone, raw materials which are present in combined form, that will be separated. That is the first reaction. Second reaction, we are removing the water from raw materials. So that is about drying zone. Next, calcinating zone or decarbonating zone. In this zone, that means after removing water, we should allow the raw materials into next zone. Next zone is what? Is second zone. Observe the diagram, rough diagram. It is the second zone. After drying zone reaction, we are introducing the raw materials, or we are treating the raw materials in dry zone first. Next, calcinating zone. In this calcinating zone, we are taking that raw materials, we are heating or we are treating that raw materials at 1000 degrees C. Here temperature is increased. Whenever we heat the raw materials at 1000 degrees C, here calcareous, in first reaction argillaceous materials are involved in the reaction. What are the raw materials? Calcareous materials and argillaceous materials. Here argillaceous materials are separated. We need to separate the calcareous materials also. That is why in this zone calcium, that means limestone, is reacting or treating at 1000 degrees C. Whenever this CaCO3 treated at 1000 degrees C, it is decomposed in the form of calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Here removal of carbon happen, separation of carbon happen, calcium oxide, that means calcium oxide happen. That is why it is called as decarbonating zone. Carbonate, calcium carbonate is decomposed. That is why it is called as decarbonating zone or calcinating zone. Calcinating zone means what? Removal of calcium oxide happening. That is why it is called as calcinating zone. Or separation of calcium happening. That is why it is called as calcinating zone. Removal of decomposition of calcium carbonate happens. That is why it is called as decarbonating zone. Whenever we look into this reaction, try to understand the reaction here. Here CaO, limestone, is separated or decomposed in the form of calcium oxide and CO2. So here quicklime is formed. In previous reaction, alumina, silica, ferric oxide are formed. Here quicklime is formed. Next, we need to treat the raw materials. After treating with dry zone and calcinating zone or decarbonating zone, we should allow the raw materials in next zone, that is burning zone. It is the most important zone. Whenever we treat the raw materials at burning zone, the separated raw materials, here CaO is separated, here alumina and silica are separated. So the separated raw materials are get combined and they will be converted in the form of clinkers. That is why this zone is called as burning zone or clinkering zone. Why it is called as burning zone means here temperature is very high, that is nearly 1400 to 1500 degrees C. In summer 40 to 50 degrees centigrade we can't bear, but here temperature is how much? 1400 to 1500. We can imagine how much that is, how intense temperature is there. What we can understand the range of the temperature. So here at this temperature any substance can burn. That is why this is called as burning zone or clinkering zone. Why it is called as clinkering? In about two steps, the raw materials which are separated in individual form are getting combined and they can converted in the form of clinkers. That is why this zone is called as clinkering zone. Look into the most important reactions here. Observe, CaO is lime. Lime reacts with what? Silica. It is converted in the form of what? Dicalcium silicate. Next, 3 moles of calcium oxide react with 1 mole of silica, that will be converted in the form of tricalcium silicate. Next, 3 moles of calcium oxide react with 1 mole of alumina, that will be converted in the form of tricalcium aluminate. Next, 4 moles of calcium oxide reacts with 1 mole of alumina and 1 mole of ferric oxide, that will be converted in the form of tricalcium aluminoferrate. Observe the names. Here, observe the reactions also, everyone. Here, these reactions are very simple. Observe the reactant side and product side. Just to focus on first reaction. In first reaction, 2 moles of calcium oxide we are taking, that is react with 1 mole of silica. That will be converted in the form of what? 2CaO and SiO2. Here reactants, in between reactants plus symbol is there. Here instead of plus we are placing dot. Very easy to remember. And I will give one simple hint. If you understand this one, I will give simple hint to remember. To simplify this reactions, I will give the simple hint to you. Look into the second reaction. Second reaction also followed the same formula. That means same concept. Here plus is there in reactant side, in product side there is no plus. Just instead of plus we are putting dot. Third reaction and fourth reaction also same. Look into the names of this. Here calcium, how many moles of calcium is there? 2 calcium. That is why it is called as dicalcium. How many moles of silicas are there? 1 silica. So it is called as, or it is named as dicalcium silicate. In second reaction, 3 calciums are there. That is why it is called as tricalcium. Silica is there. That is why it is called as silicate. Look into the third reaction. Here 3 moles of calcium is there. That is why it is called as tricalcium. Al2O3 is there, that is why it is called as alumina. Look into the fourth reaction, 4 calciums are there, that is why it is called as tetracalcium aluminoferrate. How to remember these names? Here C2S, dicalcium, di means 2, calcium means C. So it is simple form, we can remember it as C2S. Tricalcium means C3S. Tricalcium aluminate means C3A. Tetracalcium aluminoferrate means C4AF. Silicate means S. S stands for silicate, A stands for alumina, A stands for alumina, F stands for ferrate. So these are the steps involved in the manufacturing of Portland cement. In next video we will discuss about most important long answer question, that is setting and hardening of Portland cement.